Well, hello to everybody out there, and those of you that are going to be joining us in a little while or maybe following along later on. Welcome to today's live feed. We're all waiting for Melissa, but for good reason. She's burning herself apparently over there. That's not the good reason. The good reason is that she's making us a tea. So my sweetheart has brought me a tea.
I would wait though, because it's hot.
Is it hot? Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Are you saying it's a hot tea?
It's a hot
like you, my wife's a hot tea. Are you gonna bring a chair over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'd have to crouch the whole time.
That would be awkward.
Yeah, I don't know if this is gonna fit back there.
That's probably an exercise move, like just squatting while you're doing a live feed. I'm not on a chair. I just can stand in the seated position. I have no evidence to back that up. You're just gonna have to believe me. Just like we have to believe that newscasters wear pants. Same thing.
I don't believe they wear pants.
You don't believe they do? According to Ron Burgundy, they don't sometimes, apparently. Camera's down there.
I was looking at the wrong side, too.
See, that's why I'm telling you. So we try and look at the camera. I am also going to be diverting my eyes over to the side of the screen while I try and read some comments. Part of the reason why we're doing a live feed today is that I had a customer call me today. I'm not going to mention her name, but she'll know who she is. And she said, I've been watching you guys for 4 years or 3 years. No, must have been 3 years. She's been watching, because we haven't been on for 4 years. She said, I've been watching you guys for years. Let's say that. At least a month. She's been watching us for several days. Let's say that. It's gone downhill real fast. She's been watching us for several days. And here, I'm going to scooch so you can come over a little bit more.
Then I can fit my whole head in.
Yeah, there we go.
Why am I so far away?
Come closer. I don't bite much.
It begins.
It begins? Okay. I haven't even had any sugar yet.
We have a turmeric tea. It's really yellow.
It's not September 20th?
Did you put September 20th?
September 9th?
9/20 because it's 2020.
Yeah, somebody said it's not September 9th.
Yeah, it is. Oh, well, maybe they're in Australia.
Oh, could be. Okay. I've done that before, though. Anyway, back to the lady who called me. She said, I've been watching you for at least an hour now, and I've never been able to catch a live feed. So I said, I'm going to do a live feed tonight, just for you, so you know that you can catch a live feed. So if you're on here, say hello to everybody and let us know. Hey, Dakota's on. Hello, Dakota.
Hey, Dakota.
Madna's channel. Or maybe it's M.A.
Dakota, are you back now?
Dakota was in the United States of America visiting his sister, I believe. I think that's what was happening. Matthew Fox is on.
Hey, Matthew.
Had some good news. Bob the Bottle Man, for all of you that know Bob, I was looking at the wrong spot again. I'm reading comments and I'm talking too.
I was looking at that too.
Bob has been, his family owned a business for a really long time. He worked for them pretty much his whole life. And he was looking for work for almost the last year. And we tried to get him some interviews, and he's a very nice guy, very hireable. But with COVID and everything, it's been difficult. Well, he got a job today. So congratulations to Bob. And it's a job that you could only get during a pandemic. It's a job helping to screen people visiting a senior's home. So I said
that will probably lead to other jobs later on when this is all over, though.
Yeah, I said, I'm happy that you have a job, but for me to want you to keep your job, bad things are happening. So I hope that this job leads to maybe more permanent work there. But very happy for you, Bob. Congratulations. And it was really nice to see you today. And he's actually working probably right now. I think he's working. His first day is today.
I don't know if I think he might be off now, though. Amanda said, thank you. The blue semi-precious globe arrived. It's gorgeous.
Oh, I'm so glad. And for those of you that are wondering, we shipped that semi-precious gemstone globe out. That was
a really cool piece.
It was a very cool piece. I packed it up with lots of bubble wrap. I hope it got there okay. More often than not, sometimes it's me that packs these things up. I had to mail a skateboard out in the mail today. And then I realized that I mailed the skateboard out. Oh, I tied a knot around my teeth.
Why?
I don't know. I was trying to undo it this whole time.
You guys, look at how yellow that is. It makes it look like there's like mustard in this.
Okay, what kind of tea are we having?
I don't know. It's a Numi, N-U-M-I, organic tea, but it was the turmeric.
We should be drinking the tea that comes from our store, because we sell tea at our store.
Well, I wanted turmeric because I wanted to make sure it's supposed to be antiviral.
It's very yellow.
Yeah, it's really yellow.
I don't know. I can't really hold it up, so hang on.
We're talking about tea, you guys.
Yeah, that's the color of the tea today.
I put an ice cube in yours for you.
Oops, I jostled things. Okay, so what was I talking about before I got distracted
Sorry.
with teacup nonsense?
Bob.
Bob, yes, Bob is probably still
And
at
the
work,
globe.
working his first shift right now. Oh, and I had to send a skateboard today. That's where that led to. I mail things out, mailed a globe out. I can send the world to you as long as it's a globe and not the real Earth. But we had a skateboard that sold on eBay, and yes, we sometimes sell on eBay, not very often, but sometimes we do. I had to recycle some boxes. The boxes, when I get to the post office, I read what I packed up, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't it wasn't like adult diapers, right? I mean, that'd be, why would I have that? I don't know, but I don't. I don't. Now it just made things awkward.
Yeah.
Anyway, it could have been really embarrassing, like you reuse an adult diaper box or something, but no, it said raw salmon fillets, raw salmon fish inside this box. And I was like, oh, great. Now they're going to think I'm sending raw meat in the mail when really it's just a skateboard. So I grabbed the pan off the counter and I just scribbled all over all that stuff quite aggressively because I was the next person in line. So I was trying to do it really quickly. So I'm standing there in line and this guy, that's probably explains why he turned around. Like I'm behind him like this. "Ugh!" And he just looks back. I wonder if he thought that's how I was writing the guy's address on the box. Where's it going? It's going here. Ugh! Figure this out, post office. Ugh!
Wow.
Anyway, so I mailed it out and I did not ship out salmon fillets in the mail. Anyway, that happened today. So mailing stuff out. I guess thank you, Melissa, who appears, says that to flip the boxes inside out. That's a useful thing to know after the fact. But yes, that is the better thing to do. Probably is flip the boxes around. Didn't do that though. So it's been a really, really busy week for both Melissa and I. You've been getting ready for school.
I am so tired. I can barely keep my eyes open.
But so why don't you tell them how your first day of school went with your students?
It went, I mean, after all the cleaning and preparation and everything, it went really smooth. It went abnormally smooth, to be honest. So where is the camera, at the top or at
It's
the
right
bottom?
there. Hi, Jane. Jane says hello.
So my students were all amazing. Everybody, I mean, it was abnormally smooth. I have 3 and 4-year-olds. They all sat in the circle. Every activity they participated in, and were like really engaged. It was like your ideal situation for any day, not the first day. The first day is like herding cats, and
They're 3 and 4-year-olds, and I mean this with the utmost respect, having 3 children. They're walking petri dishes. They are like blobs of bacteria with little arms, and they sneeze and smear stuff, and they drool.
I think you're thinking of younger, because
No.
I don't know, mine, so the kids that I have this year, I have 10 in my class A and then 7 in class B. And they
Are
were
you a
fantastic.
class A lady?
Mm-hmm.
She's a class A gal.
So I had one kid sneeze. He immediately like sneezed right into his arm, and then he went and washed his hands and took care of everything. So, I mean, you could have kids sneeze right in your face, but I have like abnormally clean kids this year.
Well, that's good. Let's hope it stays that way.
I know.
Melissa, the kids and I got Melissa this shirt just a couple days ago on her first day. It's a
Yeah.
llama shirt. See, that's the shirt we got her.
No problem.
Abigail and was it Abigail, Jason and I
Yeah.
went out and we got that shirt from Melissa. However,
Well, wait. So between class A and class B, I have to sanitize the entire room. You have to wash everything with hot soapy water, and then spray it with diluted bleach mixture on everything. This took me almost 3 hours, just the cleaning portion of today, because I have class B tomorrow, and I don't want anybody getting cross-contaminated. So I apparently got bleach on my shirt. Let's see if you guys can see it.
it's right.
Oh wait.
Yeah, look. Yeah, she got bleach
And at the
stains on the back of it. Maybe I can find some dye and we can try and fix that. I'll use my technique I use at the post office, and I'll just
You have to let it like be soaked to sanitize. It has to stay wet for at least 10 minutes. So something must have dripped on me. I was washing like crazy though.
Look, they say use a marker.
Oh yeah, I could use anything.
I could rub a blueberry on the back.
No, I lied. You can't use anything.
Okay. Hey, speaking of berries, we're also picking the berries off of our tree. And we're gonna make jam. I think tonight is what's happening, right?
I'm on the other side of the camera than normal, so I have to look farther away for the comments. So.
Yep. Oh, do you want to grab the berry juice out of the fridge so we can show them what it looks like?
It's a jar with juice in it. I don't want to get up. My legs hurt so
Okay.
much.
Anyway, we harvested, I believe, and I don't know if anybody else is the same way. If you plant something in your yard, I'd like that thing to be able to feed me at some point, or to be able to build a tree house in it. So we have in our yard primarily like apple trees. We have a choke cherry tree in the front yard. We have raspberries in the back, and we have, some floral.
I have tomatoes and beans, which we ate today.
But that's not a tree.
Oh, a tree.
I'm talking about the foliage. We have a maple tree, very much like the fake one behind us. And they all kind of serve some sort of purpose. The maple tree I like because it's a big shady tree. It provides shade for our patio. The other trees I can pretty much eat. So we did a really big harvest. Oh, thank you. Hope you're all doing super well. Positive vibes from Sean and Gail in Vancouver. Well, hello, West Coasters. Well, I went up the ladder. We should have filmed this. Yesterday, I borrowed
it would have been an action shot if I'd filmed it for sure.
It was almost bad. Melissa said me in the ladder in the tree was like watching Chevy Chase in Christmas Vacation putting the lights on the
There was
roof.
one point where literally he started going up the ladder and it did kind of come away and standing straight up. I'm like,
I did a trick. I did a trick on the ladder because it's not the type of ladder that opens up. The ladder that our neighbors lent us is the type that has to lean against things. And so I was leaning against the middle of the tree. And I started climbing up. Actually, I was climbing up anyway. It started to stand itself up while I was on it. And that was fun. That was interesting. But we harvested a whole lot of berries. Not as much jam as we normally do, but we're going to kind of mix it. We're going to combine choke cherry juice with raspberry juice and make some kind of crazy jam out of that.
Yeah, my mom gave me, I don't know if mom's on right now, but she gave me raspberry juice as well. She said, you could make jelly with this.
I think raspberry cherry jam sounds pretty good,
Yeah,
but kind of hard to say. Can I have some raspberry cherry jam, please?
We're sitting on the opposite side because Alexander's phone, which we're filming on, is plugged in because it was only at 50%. And we didn't want to give you a half live.
Are people complaining that we're sitting on the wrong side?
No, they just asked why we were sitting.
If you want to see us in the other direction, you could walk around to the back of your monitor or your phone or whatever you're watching on and look at us from the back side. That way you'll see the back of our heads, but we'll be in the correct position. That's how that works, right? So just go stare at the back of your phone right now. What do you see? Nothing?
It's to mess with you, Dakota. That's why we're sitting this way.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about today. Well, you were busy at work.
Oh, yeah.
And she was bleaching and cleaning.
The thing is that I'm not used to having every second of my day full anymore. I know I'll get in a routine and everything, but oh my goodness. And you have to crouch down when you're talking to kids. So all that crouching, my legs are burning. I'm going to be so strong after all this.
Yes.
And bleached.
I had somebody jackhammering out the basement of the store today.
Yeah.
Video is upcoming, by the way. I have to edit it. Like I was filming all day today. And I have been working Mahiny off. I don't know why I said it like that. Mahiny.
You said I'm a lady.
It sounds like I'm clearing my throat. What do you I have something? I got a little scratchiness in my throat today. Mahiny. There it goes. I got it up now. It was just a little phlegm. Anyway, I was working Mahiny off.
Oh.
That's right, I said it again. Because we've been getting ready for this big auction sale. If you didn't know, we are selling a whole pile of stuff at Kastner Auctions, kauctions.ca. I don't know if they have a jingle.
I think it's attached to you. I thought it was my hair.
She's playing with my hair.
Hanging in your eye.
I just learned in marriage that you...
Attached to you. I thought it was my hair.
She's playing with my hair.
Hanging in your eye.
I just learned in marriage that you just let your wife do stuff like this. You just let them sure, pick at me like I'm an ape in the wild and pull the gnats out of my hair and eat them, why don't you? At least I won't have to pay for lunch.
Wow.
That's what happens to your dates. Like when you're...
Hold on, look what's happening to the screen.
Oh, hopefully that's not happening in real life. There we go.
What? I've never seen it look like... I don't know if you guys got that, but it looked like my screen was melting.
Like a weird waterfall. Maybe it's a 1980s computer virus and there's going to be a laughing skeleton on there soon.
Why jackhammering out your basement?
That was the lower unhinged jaw of a skeleton, by the way.
Jackhammering basement.
Yes, jackhammering basement. So I wasn't jackhammering the basement. Other people were. They were down. We let people in the building and they took a jackhammer down there. and they were kind of complaining about the height of the basement and the general basement qualities that it has being kind of dank and gross, which is why I never, people are always like, why don't you just use your basement for storage? I'm like, it's not really like that. It's not it's more like a root cellar that had cement poured around it.
Everybody had a melt screen. That's so weird.
Yeah, it was strange. So I did shoot a video. I'm going to show you guys. But what this leads to today is that while they were doing that, and I'll show you in the video when it comes out later why they were jackhammering in the basement.
I almost said.
I was pulling stuff together for the auction sale, and I finally got the last bit of stuff ready for the auction. And I even took down the Land Rover. I didn't buy that. That was one of those things that you're just like, you trade, you swap, you end up with something. You're like, at the end of the day, you know, one of those days where you start off the day not needing a Land Rover, and then somebody ends up getting you a Land Rover, like a normal day, right? So I end up with that thing. I drove it all the way there. It actually drove fine. It ran and drove and stopped and started, and the brakes worked, and the lights all worked, and the horn works, and the wipers work, and everything works, and it got over there fine. So I think for someone, it's going to be a decent vehicle. Everybody says, you should keep it, you should keep it, you should get rid of the Woody Wagon, you should get it. The Land Rover is a cool vehicle, but I couldn't see myself driving that thing every day, and it's not crazy enough, like the Woody Wagon is, that they think you're completely eccentric. Like, don't get me wrong, they think you're eccentric when you drive a Land Rover Safari vehicle with the tire strapped to the hood. They're like, oh, it's one of those guys. You know, probably walk in wearing all camouflage, or walk in wearing all khaki with like all. Why are there so many pockets on Safari people? Like, what are you putting in those pockets? I mean, okay, I get it. Maybe you, but even their binoculars hang. But you look at somebody who's like on Safari and they get it, it's like nothing but like 500 pockets sewn all over a khaki shirt. And they're like, well, if you need what could you possibly need in the Safari other than like some water, maybe?
Granola bar.
Okay, Melissa would have granola bars in her pocket, snacks.
Chewy.
You know, like when you're out on a safari adventure and you're visiting the lions and you've got pockets full of raw meat, you're like, oh, this was a horrible idea. And then I start chasing. Bet you didn't have all those pockets. Because if you had to run away from something and you had all those pockets, what if you left your pockets unbuttoned and you turned into like a giant parachute? You ran at half the speed because of the wind resistance. Or maybe it's a survival thing and you fall off a cliff and all the pockets open up and it creates like 1,000 little parachutes on your body and it protects you from falling.
I feel like I'm starting to understand why I have patience to teach preschool.
Are you saying that I prepped you? My immature adolescent nature.
You're just very busy.
This is why people meet me and they're like, oh, you must be like in your late 20s mentally. I'm like, oh, I get it now. Anyway.
We missed a super chat.
I missed. Okay, what did John have to say? John, the Florida Flipper. I love your videos. I hope one day I can be as big of a YouTuber as you. I hit 200 subs a couple days ago, so I decided to have a 200 sub giveaway. Well, no, you're supposed to keep your subs. Don't give them all away. You know, John, truth be told, I looked at my my Facebook feed from 3 years ago, and my feed said, hey everyone, remember last week when I said I had 100 subscribers? Well, guess what? Things really took off, and now I'm at 1,000. I was super happy. I had 1,000 subscribers. And that happened within a week. We went from 100 to 1,000 and so forth.
We were like celebrating when we hit 100 because it wasn't all family at that point.
No, and I think by the time we got like 1,000 or more, it took a really long time to get there. So hang in there. Mm-hmm. It's not really easy to do, John, but
and good job on the 200 subs. That's great.
It is great. That means there's 200 people interested in what you're doing and what you're talking about. So stick with it.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I should be entertaining the people at home here. And I am not doing a great job of entertaining. If you see any comments, Melissa, that I need to answer, keep me in mind.
Okay, keep you in mind.
Well, I mean, yeah, don't just read it and be like, tell me later tonight. I mean, if there's something I need to answer, let me know.
Somebody said they're so mad.
Yeah. Okay. The pockets, the safari vehicle, auction. Look, I reeled it back in. I don't think you can be classified as having ADD if you can reel it back in, can you?
Thank you, Sandy. I'm going to do that with the shirt.
Okay. Jakota is on right now. Jakota has told many people he was diagnosed with ADD. And I meet Jakota and Josh and I'm like, yeah, I get it. They're just creative artsy people. I don't know if that's, you know, maybe I don't want to go get myself tested. I probably would come back having something.
What are they going to do? They're just going to.
Yeah, I don't know. Too late now, suckers. I've been unleashed on the world the way I am. And that's just the way we're going to leave it. But to reel it back together, we were talking about why I was so busy. See, look, I can carry on a cohesive conversation if you just listen through that.
You're going on.
Yes. What, are you giving me a hard time?
No.
You're giving me a hard time. Let's see if she notices me giving her a wet willy in her monitor.
How am I still on there?
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody says, and he has 3 kids. Yes. Somebody willingly married me and had babies with me. Who's the crazy one?
You point and laugh. Oh.
Who's the crazy one in this marriage now, people? It's her, because she willingly came into this. She was like, I can get past a lot of other things.
What?
Anyway, I've been busy at the store. This is the moral of the story. This is the moral of the story. Oh my goodness. Oh, look, now I can't get on track because there's a super chat. Kaiser Skippy. Kaiser Skippy.
I so knew you were going to do that.
Kaiser Skippy says, Alex, I've been watching a lot of your vids, and I think for your safety, you should consider getting a drone to explore those barns and basements. Melissa actually got me a drone, but the thing about a drone or lots of camera equipment is it freaks people out when you go to their house and you say, can I take some pictures? Can I do some videos while I'm here? And then they're like, okay, sure. And they're like, 1 second while I get out my professional gear, and then suddenly there's like R2-D2 pulling up and hoverboards and things. Marty from like the year 2016, which apparently was a much more modern future than what we really had, pulls up from Back to the Future Part 2, which was my lesser favorite of the 2 Back to the Futures that came, and then there's the 3rd one, which was pretty cool. Anyway, he pulls up on a hoverboard and he's like, dude. Anyway, these people are like, what? Has the future arrived? And then they kick me out of their barn and I don't get to film. That's why, because I am not Marty or Biff from Back to the Future Part 2. I'm Alex from now, and a lot of that equipment freaks people out. However, I would like to get a drone to do some driving shots and take more time doing B-roll. B-roll being the business, you know, in the business we call B-roll the footage that is just driving scenes and sequences. I know I need to do more of that. So at some point I will get a drone to do that sort of thing, but maybe not for when I'm in somebody's house.
I got you a nice drone.
I'm gonna read Mary's comment here before I get back to talking about why I've been busy. How many times have you been in the doghouse from buying not wife approved stuff? There's nothing I can buy that would be probably wife approved. It's not like we need any of the stuff that we buy for the store for us.
It's not that. I think the only time I'm never in the doghouse. I think I'm only, you know, I'm not lovely all the time. If I ever got upset, I think it would be over something that Alexander said he was not going to buy, and then magically it just shows up. I mean, I get over it. Things go.
Yeah, things do eventually sell. I didn't end up in the doghouse for buying the Potter's house.
No, what?
We chatted about that.
Yeah, we talked about the Potter's house.
We chat about most things, but for the most part, and I was talking to the folks at the auction today, and this will lead back to that. I took a whole bunch of stuff into the auction today, almost 400 items total, I think 370 or something. I've been really, really busy getting the sale together, and I will do a preview video and put it out there so you guys can see what went through. But when I was at the auction day, I was talking to Sean, who is one of the owners of the auction, and he said, what's your wife think of all this? And I said, well, I think for the most part, she understands that the things that I'm buying when I go and buy a crazy big collection or something, like for you guys watching at home, you see me buy a big collection and you're probably thinking, well, what do you need all that stuff for? But we have a store.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't come home.
No.
Thank goodness.
And if it does come home, I am in a mad panic to get rid of it just as fast. Like when we had the 1,000 cameras show up, I don't want that stuff in my garage.
No.
So I try very quickly to process it, to either get it out to other dealers, to get it to auctions, to get it in the store and up on display. So I try and move really quickly at that. So no, have not been in the doghouse too much. Do you have any Halloween at the store? Only on October 31st. But we only do that yearly.
And thank you, Raymond. It was somebody had asked, I don't know if it was you, Raymond, if you're going to decorate for Halloween or...
I think he's wondering if I have Halloween items for sale. I was being
somebody
I was trying to be
before.
funny, but it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Raymond, first off, thank you. Secondly, I don't get a lot of Halloween items in. I do have some things that are creepy in the store. And for some reason, Zoltar creeps people out.
He's creepy.
Well, okay. Some people they're like, ooh, he's mystic and kind of creepy, and then they put the money in to get him fortune, and he has kind of a sense of humor, like, ha, welcome, give Zoltar your money, wah ha ha. He's the Count from Sesame Street. Yeah. $1, $2, $3, wah ha ha. Anyway, so other than I don't know what we're gonna do for Halloween this year, hand out candy, right? But I do. To answer your question, if you're asking about if I sell antique Halloween decorations and things. The short answer is yes, when I get them. I've been to houses and there's been, antique jack-o'-lanterns and things. I buy them, but they sell really quick. And I don't find them in enough quantity that it's worth picking up. There was a video a few weeks ago where I went to the it was like the big sort of hoarder situation. Um, anyway, he had a room full of Halloween stuff, but it was all new, so I didn't end up buying any of it. Brickman says, "Hi, Melissa and Alex. You promised me a song months ago. Put a smile on my face. Maybe Melissa can join in. Look forward to everything you do." I did do a song not that long ago, Brickman. You just probably missed it. So now I'm going to say that song was for you. Huh? Do you believe me? Are you buying it? No? Okay. He's a good judge of character, though. If you go back, Brickman, I did a song probably like last month or so.
Is that a month already?
Redemption Day was a Johnny Cash, Sheryl Crow song. That was the last one I did. And I don't know. Eventually, I'll put another one up there. Somebody wrote in all caps. They're like, "Did you see my message about something?" And I didn't.
Oh yeah, hold on. About the movie warehouse for the movies. How much is the fireplace radio?
Oh, the fireplace clock, Debbie, has sold. Actually, I have it at the house right now,
Oh, yeah,
and
I saw it.
I have to pack it up and mail it out. So sadly, I will shed a single tear. I'll shed two.
I always feel bad when people ask about something that's sold because I'm like, I'm so sorry, but on one hand, I'm sorry that they missed it, but I'm happy that it's gone for us because it's a sale.
It's sometimes our stores like Costco. It's now or never.
But it goes pretty fast if you see it online.
Yeah, people see it in a video and it goes, and
then some things stay forever.
people generally will either email us or call the store, and then it gets set aside. They called the shop and had Sean put it aside. They called in today and paid for it. Now I have to go and put it in the mail, and I kid you not, I'm looking at it in a box which is about to be packed up and mailed out. So,
what did you think? What do you think of the tea so far?
It's okay. The tea kind of tastes like if you took Indian food and
like the smell of an Indian food restaurant and put it in a tea.
Yeah, it kind of smells like curry and stuff. I mean, not that I don't like
turmeric, that's why.
I know, but I like Indian food, but I don't know if I like drinking Indian food.
It's good for you to drink it.
She's making me drink it.
Do you ever work at the shop? Very rarely. I go and help. Didn't you see me moving the showcase around the block? I only help with moving stuff and not really working the shop because I'm very busy teaching and with the kids. So,
Julie Russell, to answer your question, should I call if I want a No Regrets cup? I laugh because it is a funny cup. Yes, call the store. Sean will set it aside. We have to figure out shipping on it, but yes, we can get one to you.
I like the No Regrets one too.
Yeah, we have a lot of funny little coffee mugs and things at the shop. Somebody also asked, will the auction house ship to the United States? Not only will they ship to the United States, they will ship anywhere, and that's why I use that auction house. Many auction houses that are local, they allow for pickup locally. The auction house Kastner auctions, the reason why I use them is that they will ship to all of you at home. And because most of my customers and viewers are all over the world, it makes more sense to me to use an auction house that can ship like that.
And they pack things up really
good. Raymond says, Mom would like to know if you get an angel that are crystal and light up, like for a Christmas tree. We did have a lot of antique Christmas decorations come from Mary's house when we did the Potter's house. I've had some since then. But I have not had any come in since then, not to match that description, Raymond. And thank you again for writing. Am I missing any messages here?
Matthew said hi and sent $2.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Matthew. Unnecessary, but cool. You should check out his channel too. Do you have any vintage sewing notions? I love your videos. I have a notion that I might be getting a cabinet soon. I saw, I'm supposed to be going out to see it. Remember when I went out to Saskatchewan and I bought the abandoned antique store? Mm-hmm. Well, they came into the store and they showed me pictures of a bunch of cool stuff that I want to buy.
Today?
No, like a few weeks ago. And I said, well, we should try and arrange it before winter hits, like end of September. But I've not heard anything from them yet. So hopefully we'll hear back from them at some point because they had a lot of cool stuff, including, I think, a Notion cabinet.
Look what I see here.
Oh, hello, my sister Heather. My dear, sweet sister Heather. I don't know who I am with that voice. I should have done that voice when I first met her. You know, when you meet your older sister for the first time and you're not an infant. Yeah. When Heather's like, I think we're related, we should talk. This is how that happened. We did the ancestry thing, if you're not aware of that. Heather and I, at different times, both decided to do the ancestry DNA thing. Had she done hers sooner, no, I think my dad still wouldn't have been around. But she missed meeting her biological dad by just a sneeze and a haircut. Is that a new saying? It is now. It's like, this is how close she was.
That is what you do not want to do during a
A
haircut.
sneeze and a haircut, and then your ear goes missing.
Wow.
Anyway, Heather, next time I meet you for the first time, I'm going to pretend that I sound like Stewie Griffin all the time. Hello, I'm your brother. This is how we talk in Canada. Ooh, party. Ooh. And then she'll be like, I'm good. I don't need to meet you. We're all good.
Thank you, Dora.
I'm pleased as punch. Tickled as tomatoes. What other kind of sayings can I invent right
Well,
now?
then I think Nikki's on too. Hello,
Yeah.
Nicole.
Somebody says, Casey Collins says, I did the DNA thing, went from being an only child, to being an old child. I think he meant to say only. If you're an adult, you probably are an old child. I'm an old child too.
I'm an old child.
He said he went from being an old child to one of 7, but I think he meant to say only.
1 of 7. That is a.
Now, where do you
That's
sit
a surprise.
in the 1 of 7, Casey Collins? Where are you? Are you the youngest? Does that mean you have to take all of your now much older siblings' hand-me-downs? Like, if your parents were still around, if they are still around, they'd say, no, you've got 7 older brothers and sisters. You're going to be wearing their clothes and playing with their toys now. And you get the worn-out version of Monopoly that's been around a few kids, and the Fisher-Price toys, the wood ones you pull, but they're all chewed up from other kids. And you're like, this sucks. That's the joy of being the youngest child in a family, especially of 7. So you got to miss all that. Now you get adults, I guess, to be friends with and relatives with. But here's the thing. We did also do the 23andMe test, and they're working on our results now. So we'll do an update video there and find out if we have any mystery relatives. But really, Melissa's the one I think that we're more curious about. Not that she has other kids I don't know about.
I feel like I'd know. I would have remembered pushing them out.
But
Did you see us? There was a super chat one.
yes, that was Casey Collins says, I am an old child at 58. So there is, there's a possibility that because Dave, Melissa's dad, was adopted, that there might be some family out there that we've never met, because we really have not met. I don't think we've ever met anybody from his side of the family.
No, well, I've talked to. There was one of my cousins who we think her mom might be my dad's half sister. I've been talking to her. She's in Vancouver. Super nice. So it felt like immediate family as well, just like Heather felt like immediate family. This cousin felt like immediate family too.
Matthew, you can put your link up to your channel, absolutely. You put enough links for everybody else's channels up. You're very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna see what happens. Last time I got a sister out of the deal, that was like, the getting a surprise sister out of a DNA test for me was the equivalent of putting money into one of those claw machines and getting the very best, the cutest, happiest stuffed animal and being able to take it home and be like, you're mine now. That's right, Heather. You were like a really happy, fun stuffed animal big sister. Is that how that works? No, I don't know. Anyway, she's a joy and I love her and she's a wonderful person and I'm very glad that she's in my life. And it was like winning a prize, winning the lottery. Okay, I've got to answer some questions about things that are going on. Somebody says, what about restoring the old bicycle? I took in the tandem bicycle from the 1800s. Oh, Heather, you didn't have to pay me $2 to say but thank you. Big sisters, what are you going to do? I took in an 1800s tandem bicycle into a shop. He could not get some things apart on it. And he took it into a machinist, and the machinist quoted anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000, not even to restore the bike, just to basically loosen up the parts that were seized on it. So you know what I said? Nope. Nope. I said nope. Hard pass, nope. And I said, he said, well, this bicycle is probably worth, like $5,000 or $8,000 or so when it's done, but the challenge is, okay, so I spend $5,000 getting it freed up, and then how much more do I have to spend on paint and getting the wheels and the chain and the sprockets and all that stuff? So then you're into something for $10,000, $12,000 that's worth $5,000. It does not make economical sense. Better luck for me would be to bring it back to the shop, sell it to a machinist who will do it for free on their own, and then they can have a really cool bicycle. That's more the approach I'm going to take. So I have to drive out to Millet, Alberta again to get the bicycle from the guy. Very nice people. And I do need to revisit them anyway, because apparently they have a basement full of stuff. Last time I was there, I got that cool little race car toy that went immediately, sold it to my friend Kelly. And they said they have some Lionel trains in their basement. So, trains. Melissa does get nervous when I talk trains, though, because there was a period of time when we had a toy store and I bought somebody's Lionel train collection and it filled the entire basement of our house. She came down the steps and it was like the sea. Like even Moses couldn't part that. He was like stepping on parts of toys and be like, "Ow!" and trying to split nothing.
You know, the problem is that if you buy too much of one thing in a collection, and then you need to move it, and at that point we were selling on eBay, you flooded your own market, so everything's worth just a little less. So we've sat on that for a while, some of that.
Yeah. Somebody said you must, like, you probably want to take the rocket radio lamp home and stuff. It is a really cool rocket radio lamp. And
when did you get that?
See, mystery things happen. When I went out of town the other day, I went out to the country and I went through a barn and they had a rocket radio lamp, and of course I had to buy it. You know, they sent me a picture beforehand. Oh, NorCal Waves, thank you. Sent us $3.99. And Karen, also, thank you. Thank you for the super chats. Much appreciated.
I like the little stickers.
Anyway, I brought it home. But no, I can't keep everything.
The rocket lamp thing?
No, I didn't bring it home. Sorry, I took it to the store.
I was so excited briefly.
No, it's cool looking, but it's in the shop.
You wanted me to go show them the choke cherry juice and you had a rocket lamp?
No, there's no rocket lamp. Lance says, trains, any interest in American Flyer? American Flyer does sell. It's not as popular. The main scales for train sets are primarily HO, and then if you get into the larger, like what we call like the American size, O scale. O scale used to be the predominant size for trains right after World War II up until the 1960s, and then HO became popular in the 70s and up, because you can do a much bigger, more intricate layout with HO. You can get houses and buildings and stuff, and you can do it on a 4x8 sheet of plywood. What you get for a 4x8 sheet of plywood with a Lionel train or a Marx train from that same period is basically like a figure 8 or an oval or maybe a little bit of siding. Siding is where the train goes off to the side. Anyway. That was the worst definition. Some train guy is shaking his head right now. And he's got like one of those baseball hats that's perched on top of his head that probably has like, you know, Burlington Northern on it. He's like, I'm a train guy and I'm offended by your lack of train knowledge, sir. I don't know why you're from the South. It's just more interesting to me. He's like in the Florida Panhandle or something. He's like, I'm offended by your demeanor, sir, and your Florida Panhandle accent is atrocious. And he's fanning himself now. Anyway, I've offended that train guy, but that is what siding roughly is in a nutshell. It's a side that you put stuff on. Anyway, it's not as popular now. See, this is when I go off track, right?
Yeah, this is when.
This is when I go off track, yeah. Anyway, it's less popular because it takes up more room. But I like it better because there's nothing like having a big Lionel train set and being like, wow, this is the coolest thing in the whole world. Unless you get into standard gauge trains, which is almost garden scale, and that's what I prefer myself. If I had a preference for trains, like if I decided I wanted to have a train set at the house, I would be remiss to say that I would enjoy a standard gauge Lionel train.
Jokota said, I like when you do that voice.
Yeah. Jokota! Son, I don't know why. Instantly, Jokota, when I started thinking about doing a voice of some older guy sitting on his porch or his stoop, let's call it, in the Florida Panhandle, he's upset. Yeah, yeah, he's upset at Jokota for some reason. He's gonna teach you a lesson. I'm gonna teach you a lesson. You won't soon forget. He's not gonna beat you. That sounds vicious.
Hey, Bob, congratulations on the job.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Bob is Foghorn Leghorn. Somebody says. Yeah, poor Foghorn Leghorn. You know, he did. Melissa sometimes does the voice of like the girl chicken. Who's what do you do?
I go if Alexander, whenever he comes out of like the washroom or around the corner, I yell, "Oh man!"
Like she got me. Oh man!
And I'll grab his shirt and give him a big smooch.
It's true, and I'm like, you're that. There was a spinster chicken with like a kid who was like, I'm a chicken hawk.
I had to, with all that cleaning and stuff, I think I got it on my skin. My skin is itchy.
Yes. Okay. Somebody said Alex is getting all over the place. I'm getting dizzy. Okay, I'm gonna come back on track. we were talking about trains because somebody asked if American Flyer was popular. Short story is, I like it. I think it's cool, but it doesn't sell as easy as Lionel or high quality HO. There. That's concise, isn't it? It only took me 4 or 5 minutes to get to that
I
point.
like that you think it was only 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay. I had a construction crew at the store today. Video coming soon. What did he say? I should say, I sounded like Barney Fife from the Annie Griffith Show. What did he say, Andy? He was like scared and the deer in the headlights. What? There's a construction crew. That's right. There was a construction crew at the store today. And they were working, and nothing makes you feel more temporary about yourself when you are, now this is my job to do this, arranging, let's call it a dollhouse at the store. It had to be done.
Part of this.
I had to arrange the dollhouse. Meanwhile, construction workers are down in my basement jackhammering. What am I doing? Well, I'm managing the store as I'm like decorating a little dollhouse in the.
Yeah,
I was making a display.
Hey, hi, Janet. How's it going?
It was borderline.
Can you help me move in the table? Okay.
Yeah, and the guys are like, this guy. They're like, this guy. You do this for work? This pays you money? I'm like, just don't ask questions. Just go down and work. Do your construction worker stuff. I got business I got to take care of. I got to make sure that this stuff is set up just perfect. Anyway. Yeah. So to answer your question, we had construction workers at the store and they were doing work and I filmed a video and I'm not done filming it yet. So that video is going to come soon. There is going to be an auction update video coming because I spent the majority of today and the last few days essentially getting my store thinned out. I took almost 400 things, and not all small stuff either. I took big stuff, and you can't even tell. Somebody came in the store and they said, well, when are you going to start taking stuff to the auction? I said, I've already taken like everything down. You can't even tell.
Well, that's good. If you had just empty shelves, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't last long. I have a couple interesting adventures to go on in the next couple days. I don't know if it's going to work out or not, but I am going to drive out of town and go look at the comic books. I have to drive like 3 hours out of town on Friday.
I don't know. For me,
yeah,
I don't get it. 3 hours, that's 6 hours of your day to go and look at some comics on your day off. Nah.
Yeah, I think, if I was just going to look at them, it'd be worse. I don't know what's worse. If I should be the customer that goes out to look at them and he's like, I've got 3,000 comics I want to sell. I'll be like, well, I might buy them, but I want to read them all first. And then I sit down and cross my legs on his floor and start to read every comic back to back, including all the ads for like the goggles that make you see through stuff. And, one thing about comic book ads, and I will go off track a little bit here. When you look at comic book ads from the 1940s and 50s, primarily, they're telling people that they're too skinny. Are you worried you're too skinny? And it's guys and girls. They're like, you should pack on some weight. Every comic book is like, don't be a skinny stick. And then there's some guy kicking sand in his face at the beach. Is that what you did back then? You just walk past some skinny guy, kick sand in his face? What if he's building a sandcastle and he was like, hey, thanks, I needed some more sand. Anyway, they were always had the weirdest ads. We had, so they're telling people to gain weight. Don't see that too much often anymore. They're selling weird animals, like exotic animals in comic books. It would have been dangerous. There's probably a lot of parents that didn't want to get your kid a comic book back in those days because of the ads that were in it. I kid you not. I've seen ads for monkeys, actual monkeys, not just sea monkeys. Sea monkeys, which are actual, what are they, shrimp or something?
Fried shrimp.
Yeah. Sea monkeys are little shrimp, right?
Yeah.
You could get sea monkeys, sure. That's pretty tame compared to the actual monkey they would send you in the mail. Do you imagine? Bing dong! And do you imagine the mailman would have had to have that thing in his truck the whole drive there? It's not like they had like real fast FedEx or UPS delivery service. They had to put the monkey on a boat or whatever they had to do. So you'd have a stinky monkey in a box show up at your door. And I guarantee Stinky Monkey, who's been in a box since it came from wherever Monkeyland is probably not going to be happy the minute you open that box up. What did you order, Jimmy? Is it here? And you open the box. The first thing the mom would be a little bit nervous about would be, the telltale signs of holes probably being in a box. You know how you want things to live when they're in a box. And then it would be the smell, the aroma that only a monkey that's been in the box for 3 weeks could have. What did you order? And then it would move. I can imagine the mom must have dropped it. I don't know why it's the mom in my mind. Because I bet the dad is, this is 1955, let's say. The dad is sitting reading a newspaper, oblivious to the world, and has his slippers on with a pipe. What's happening at the door? Your son ordered a monkey. Boys will be boys. That's what's happening.
I don't know if you guys have ever smelt a monkey, but we had a petting zoo at our school, and they said, you know, for an extra $50, we could bring, it's like this little monkey, he wears a little diaper. I'm like, yes, and I completely did it completely for me. I wanted to hold a monkey. I was all over that. When it came, all of us had instant regret. Instant.
Yeah, they stink. But you could order a monkey in the mail from a back of a comic book. You could also order parakeets. You could order, you name it. They had stuff that shouldn't be ordered. And I will tell this story, and I will tell this story out of deep respect to my father and the type of practical joker that my dad is. He had a neighbor kid that was bugging him.
I don't know which story this is.
He had a neighbor kid that was bugging him, and this is when my dad was, I don't know, probably like 12 or 13. Anyway, this kid was giving him a hard time. And so in those days, you could order things COD. You could just order whatever and get it delivered to your house. So my dad took it upon himself to order a lot of, let's say, quasi-naughty things out of the back of magazines and had them all sent to this kid's house with his name on it. And when the mom opened up the box and found all sorts of leather whips and things like that, I think that kid was grounded for like a year. My dad, you didn't want to get on my dad's bad side because he wouldn't just get even. He got even with that kid for like a year. It's just ridiculous that he thought, that kid's bugging me. I don't like it. So instead of, talking it over or telling his parents, he did the one thing my dad thought to do. He decided to order a bunch of stuff out of probably some spy novel or magazine he had, and he sent it all to their door. Anyway, he said he peeked out the window and he saw the truck arrive, and he said that he could hear the yelling from next door through the both thick walls of the house. And back in those days, in the 50s or 60s, there was probably a lot of, like insulation and asbestos and other horrible things that should have muffled the sounds of the screaming that was happening next door when the parents thought that their 13-year-old kid was some kind of horrible addict of some kind. Anyway, the moral of the story is you could order very interesting things out of the back of a magazine that I don't think you can order the same stuff now. Mainly it's just advertisements now.
Well, now you don't need the back of a magazine. We have Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon is now the comic book advertising department. That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Except I don't think you can order a monkey from Amazon though.
A monkey?
Ironically, you can't order like exotic pets from the Amazon. But you can order like a stapler. That's not as exciting. No. How are Hans and Zenobia doing? Somebody asks. You scrolled by really quickly, so Tortuga, I can't see your name. I can see it. Tortuga 324. And I'm guessing Tortuga, you went to pick your name and there was another person. You're like, fine, Tortuga 1. And they're like, that's gone too. Tortuga 2. And then eventually he's like, I'm going to put some random digits in here. 324. Bing, you're in. Because nobody had that combination of numbers. Anyway, Tortuga 324. They're doing very well.
That was it? And then silence.
No, okay, well, Hans actually called me today. I mean, that's not surprising. I talk to Hans quite regularly. He's going to come out and help me fix the roof on the little garage in the backyard at some point this summer. Or fall, or whatever we're in right now.
We're still summer.
Okay, we're still summer. He was doing a roof on some other building, and the roof of the building he was working on was covered in sheets of uncut Pepsi cans from the 1960s. Like they must have been face down because the colors were really good on them. And he said, yeah, he's like, oh, these things any good, Alex? And I'm like, yeah, they're pretty good actually. So I'm like, you should bring some back to the shop for sure. And so he's bringing me one back because I guess the guy whose house it was wanted to keep all the other ones. He's going to build a table or do something out of it. That guy should make a video. If he's making a Pepsi can coffee table, it might be kind of cool. Sounds like something Josh might dream up. Anyway, so he said, I said, well, how are things going? How's Zenobia? He said, well, Zenobia's in Ontario. I said, what do you mean Zenobia's in Ontario? What's she doing out there? She went to collect his child.
What if they're doing a video on it?
Oh, maybe. Anyway, they should have a very interesting update video coming. I don't think, she didn't kidnap him. He's 18. He willingly came. But anyway, you'll have to watch and see.
Very
Go
interesting.
to Matthew. If you can put the link to Hans and Zenovia's channel up there, you've got to ask Hans and Zenovia about their adventures. They've got all kinds of really interesting stuff going on right now. But it's all good news for Hans.
That's the hard thing when other people have a YouTube channel. You don't want to take away their story.
I don't want to steal his thunder.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that it makes me very happy to hear, because when we first did the GoFundMe for Hans and he got the house, he said the one thing I would really love would be to have a house that my son can come visit me at. And while it seems like his dream is coming true, so very, very happy for Hans and very, very pleased that that's all coming together. So there we go. Thank you, Matthew, for putting Hans's link up. We are going to try and answer a few questions here. We're going to try and cap the live feed off in the next 10 minutes or so. So if you have any questions at all that you'd like answered, this is your time to do it. We'll do Q&A. And if you have a super chat, that will put you to the top of the line, but we'll still try and do our best to answer questions as they come through. How Canadians feel about public displays of affection? We don't appreciate it. I don't know. How did you feel about it? Too late now. That was pretty innocent, I think. I think it depends on, well, I'm not going to get into that conversation. That'll go off a dark cliff. Why jackhammering in the basement? I'm not going to tell you that because I want you to watch my next video, which will explain why there was jackhammering happening in the basement. We did find a surprise in the basement underneath the concrete, though.
Do you have snow yet? I'm not crying. I'm just had a rough day. You'll know when we have snow because I'll be like this.
Let's see. Do I have the Cadillac? No, I do not have the Cadillac. Are there other cool cars you've been thinking of buying?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes, but I haven't met them yet.
Oh.
You know, people always ask me, why do you end up with these old cars? You know, you don't, you know, you drive them and enjoy them and then sell them. Where do you find these things? Well, if you watch any of my videos, every time I go to somebody's house or barn or somewhere, there's a cool old car almost everywhere I go. And sometimes they're like, you know, if it's a farmer, they might take the straw out of their mouth and go, I'm about done with that car. You can pretty well just take it out of here. And I'm like, okay. And then they're like, you're going to need a trailer. And I'm like, okay. And then it comes home. That's how that works.
Everybody thinks it's a body in the basement that you found.
No, well, you're going to have to watch and see. It's not nothing horrible. Kind of.
It's not nothing horrible?
It's not nothing horrible. You'll see. Anyway, double negatives. Yeah, I don't need a Model T or a Model A. Don't need those. You know, they're interesting looking. There was a time my dad really wanted a Model A, rumble seat roadster in the worst way. But they are not overly, I mean, they're a little bit more complex to drive. If you started, if you watch the video of the fellow starting the Harley Davidson we have in the store, where he's like, first you got to align the ignition. Once you get that all set, then you got to turn the throttle just a quarter, but not 3/4. You got to have it 1/4. And then he's like, you got to prime it, start it. And then once you get your sextant out and you can align Jupiter with the 7 star next to Mars over there, then it might start. That's about what driving a Model T is like. You have to advance the spark. You have to do all this kind of crazy stuff. And for me, I just like to get in and go. You know, like a getaway driver. Like, go, 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 go. I don't want to be like, one moment while I advance the spark and do all this stuff. I'm sure once you drive it regularly, you get used to it. But that doesn't really appeal to me that much.
Sorry, Ron. I'm glad you posted it again because I missed your question before. Bought an album from you, and he was wondering if you have the AC/DC Dirty Deeds done dirt cheap. I might have some AC/DC. Gail, thank you so much, by the way. She said, you're amazing. I don't know how you talk, Gail, but that's how you talk in my head now. You're amazing. You're amazing too, Gail. You're amazing too. I don't know if I have AC/DC. If it's the one that's the all black cover and says AC/DC kind of embossed, I might have it, but I'd have to dig through the store. As records come through, I don't have them sorted in any particular way. And I did at one point have them sorted. And I don't sort my records now on purpose because I find that when people flip through, they find unexpected albums that they weren't thinking of buying, and people come out with a much bigger stack of records because maybe they were just looking for ABBA and they decided that they didn't want to just be a dancing queen that day. They wanted to find some other stuff. So they're like, ABBA and Bruce Springsteen, what? It's like the A's and the B's are close together, but not any other letter. What? Frank Zappa doing it with the ABBA and Beastie Boys section. Well, look at that. Before you know it, they've got everything from A to Beastie Boys to Z to Zappa. So there you go.
Anyway, it would take some looking is what my point is there. Okay. Let's see. Somebody was asking, did you sell the Land Rover? The Land Rover is going through auction, guys. That vehicle is going to the Castner auction sale, which is happening September 26th. I think, though, if you sign up now, they're going to start having everything live as of the end of this week or early next week. So you can actually see everything I put through there and get it. Oh, Ron says Dirty Deeds is the one with the people in a hotel. It's weird. No, I don't recognize that one. I'll have to check it. I don't think I have that one, Ron.
No, it'll walk in the door.
People are asking, how are the Rolls Royce and the Woody Wagon doing? The Woody Wagon, the short answer is they're progressing. The long answer will come, I guess, when the video comes out and we get them back. Right now, I'm kind of enjoying not having cars in my garage. It's kind of turned out to be a nice little workspace that I can work on projects and do stuff like a little workshop. So I'm actually kind of enjoying not having a bunch of vehicles at home right now. But we'll have, hopefully we'll have them back soon. Okay, let's answer a few more questions here. So if you got your questions, we'll try and answer. I'm not going to abbreviate that.
Ants.
You want me to answer some questions for you? I don't know. Where are you from? Brooklyn? Nah, I'm from Alberta, Canada, you know.
Any more handwritten journals or cookbooks?
Can I send my Potter's book to be signed? Sure, if you wanted to. I could do that.
Sweetheart, any more handwritten journals or cookbooks?
No more handwritten journals or cookbooks just yet. How long have you been associated with the auction house? I started going to the auction house in, probably about when I first started my store. Auctions can be, I was very apprehensive to use an auction at first. The reason I was nervous to use an auction was that it goes no reserve and you really have no control over whether the person is going to be in the crowd who will understand what you've brought in. And there was times when I've also lost money at the auction, but I needed an outlet to clean my store. And there's a couple things you can do. You can either try and do a big sale at your shop and hope that people come in and buy it. But then that can also, doing sales regularly at your shop can kind of devalue the product that you have. And what I found works better is that I put things through auction. Sometimes I get full retail, very close to it, sometimes better, sometimes worse. But it clears the shelves.
Yeah.
It's all gone all at once. I don't have to worry about it at all. People come and pick it up, they ship it out, they do all that stuff, they take their percentage. I just get a check at the end of the week. So quite regularly, as of 3-4 years ago when I first started, I take stuff into the auction house and my intention is just, it's out of sight, out of mind. I don't look at what individual stuff goes for. It's a check and I can take that check and I can do something with it. I can invest it in renovations in the building. I can go buy more stock. And you try and fine tune the sort of things that you are buying so that hopefully you can sell them a lot quicker. So yeah, about a few years now, and they've been good. They're very nice. They're nice people at the auction house, so enjoy them. Let's see.
Hold on. I saw boxers or briefs.
Well, we're not going to answer that one. Have you ever heard of a rare American early 50s automobile called the Kaiser? Yes, of course, Kaiser Manhattan. The very hard to find Kaiser is the Kaiser Soze. You can never find that one. That's a reference only few people will get. But yeah, they made a Kaiser Darren, which was a sports car, and it had pocketed doors, which actually slid inside the body. I really enjoy those. I really enjoy those.
Is the guy still going to do soapstone carving in the store?
Oh, I met with Anthony, and we are going. He found another spot to use, which worked out well because my garage, we ended up needing to use it for other things, so we're actually okay there. He came to tell me that he had another space, and I said, well, that's really good because I need it to store all my stuff in. So now it's completely full of showcases that I bought the other day with Abigail and Jason. And if he needs a space down the road, we can certainly let him use it. Is ice cream done for the year since it's basically winter now? It's not basically winter now. It's still hot out.
Today.
It was very hot today, and I sold a bunch of ice cream. But I think people will still buy ice cream. I'm going to keep a smaller amount of it in stock over winter, but yes, we'll still probably have it. How is the customer flow in your shop? Good. We're a destination. We have a lot of people that come through that either watch us on YouTube or come to visit. Mm-hmm. So we have good steady stream. We were in the busiest, we used to have a store in the busiest and largest shopping, one of the busiest and largest shopping malls on our good green earth here. And our store is as busy as that, and we're in a neighborhood. And I think that traffic it depends on what you're selling. It depends on where your customers live and what they are. But we have a lot of people who just walk up to the store, and we have a lot of people who drive up that are just wanting to come visit us for antiques. So we get both. We get the local traffic for the candies and snacks and kids who just want to come in and see what's going on. And then we also have our regular customers who are buying the antiques and the more fancy things.
Kathleen said she's rewatching The Potter's House. It's funny, you were saying that you're getting a whole bunch of comments now from people rewatching or finding it for the first time. The Potter's House series?
Yes. It's funny, these videos live out on YouTube. And I've seen interviews of other people who are YouTubers, and they're interviewed on the news, and they say, what's it like to have a viral video? And they say, well, I don't know, it was like on YouTube for like 3 years, and for no reason whatsoever, it started getting lots of views. That can happen. And I find a lot of people right now are discovering the Potter's House series for the first time. And the way that I know people are discovering it for the first time is because I'm getting lots of emails of people telling me what I should do with the renovations on the house. Hey, since you're working in that kitchen, you should put the tiles this way. I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, well, you should continue watching the series and you'll see what happens. But that was like a year ago. But people think that I'm renovating right now, and they're sending me lots of info on what I should be doing.
Emily Olson's asked a few times, any tips for new beginners in the antiques business? It does depend on where you are. So for what you sell,
I'm going to be as serious as I can about this. The antiques business is not for the faint of heart. You invest money in something which may or may not sell. Sometimes you have the ability to look things up online, or maybe you have a knowledge of what things are worth, but for the most part, you are taking gut risk decisions on things, whether you feel you can make money off it or not. And there's a lot of error in the beginning as you decide what your area has demand for, and you decide what you can and cannot ask for things. So you might find that for the first little bit, you're not really making a whole lot of money. And we did not make a whole lot of money at first when we were buying and selling, because we were figuring out what sells.
And then sometimes you have something sell amazingly, you make a huge profit, and then you buy something that gives you a huge not profit. And then you're back and you just hope that you're at least over zero.
Yes, well, having a deficit on a purchase is common, and you should be prepared for that when you're in this business. But the biggest tip I can give you, it was Emily that was asking?
Yes.
Emily, if you were thinking about being in the antiques business, buy and sell things that you have a good knowledge of already.
Yeah.
If you try and just jump out into things that you don't know anything about, it's going to be very difficult to try and get your feet sunk in and start making profit. The other thing is, you can't be a collector and be a seller at the same time. Because you will get too attached to things. I have to mentally detach from every object that I own and know that anything could possibly be for sale. Because if it comes down to it and you have to pay rent, if you've been bringing stuff home, you got to sell that stuff and pay rent. If this is what you do for a living, is buy and sell things, and you're bringing too much stuff home, you got to pay the bills. I've heard stories of people that open up their business, and the first thing they do is pay themselves a really big salary and start taking stuff home. And then they go out of business and they wonder what happened. Well, you can't hang on to everything. I mean, you can't hang on to anything, really. We don't get to keep anything in this life, you know, unless you're willing to get buried in a storage locker.
Well, even then, so you don't get to keep it.
No, somebody's gonna buy you on Storage Wars and be like, dude, there's a rolled up guy in a carpet here.
What the heck?
If you feel like your last moments, you should roll yourself up that would be a horrible practical joke. If I rented a storage unit on Melissa's name and I felt I was gonna keel over and I rolled myself in a carpet and left myself there.
Wow. Wow, you're laughing.
Well, I wouldn't do it. But it would be that would be a horrible trick. I guess don't anger me, because apparently I will keel over in a carpet rolled up and they'll find me on an episode of Storage Wars.
You're never drinking turmeric again.
I don't know what she gave me anyway. It's in the tea.
My goodness,
the moral of the story.
There's no moral anymore.
The moral of the story is you can't take it with you, so you got to be ready to let it go and just have fun.
I bet anything she's really happy she asked.
No, she's probably horrified that she asked. She's like,
oh no, she said awesome, thank you.
Yeah. Nancy's asking, have you re-roofed the garage yet? No, I have not. That's what I'm waiting on Hans to do later on this summer. Let's see. Somebody says, I find things thinking I can sell and then I can't let go of, so it's not a good business for me. Yeah, no, that's not a great thing to do. if you cannot come to terms with selling something, people watch my videos, and I do a lot more videos buying than I do of selling. And mainly that's for the privacy sake of the people who are buying the things. I don't want to be like, hey, does your wife know you just bought $1,000 pinball machine? And then they're like, no, she doesn't know, don't show. They're like all upset. So I don't just randomly film my customers in the store for the most part. I have a few people that come through, like Bob and Dave comes in, and they're okay being on YouTube. And sometimes I'll ask people if they're okay with it. But for the most part, we don't show that part. So a lot of people will write me and be like, Alex, you apparently A, have ADD, undiagnosed, which is a given, and B, you have a hoarding problem. And then I say that I might have a compulsive buying problem, but I also have I sell just as much as I buy.
It doesn't stop.
I don't stop. I sell like crazy. That's part of the reason, that is a big reason why I'm doing this auction. Taking 400 things out of the store, close to 400, and I'm talking 400 decent things, 400 cool things I was actually quite happy to own at the store. Taking those to auction, it's kind of bittersweet. One, it's hard to see it go because there's a lot of good stuff in there, but I do need to flip that money and do something else with it. And we are on the cusp, on the verge of being able to pour a foundation for our new building. That's going to be kind of expensive, and so this will help with that. So the goal is to hopefully have enough money come out of this auction sale to pay for the foundation and maybe even getting some of the structure up itself. We'll see.
I'm hoping to put up some more videos on my channel. I think that right now things are insane.
Somebody's asking about your channel?
Yeah, I think that it's just going to be, we have a whole bunch of footage from over the summer. So it might be a bunch of clips shoved together so you guys can see what we did over the summer. But it'll be in the past.
Yeah.
What watch are you wearing?
Well, I have to answer another question
Okay.
first. Did I get the guitars back? No, I did not get the guitars back, but my insurance company did take care of them for me, so I was covered there. The watch I'm wearing today is a Seiko chronograph, probably circa 1969 or 70 or so. I don't know if you can see that. I'll hold it over there. Anyway,
yeah,
there that's
go.
better. With the NATO, this is called the NATO strap when it's cloth like that. I should have it tucked in nicer, but I don't. Anyway, you're supposed to fold it in and up and over. I love old watches, but after my watchmaker went out of business and I didn't have a good go-to person, I decided to wholesale all of my extra watches out to a fellow in British Columbia who sells on Etsy. And I will probably start to restock and rebuild my collection again. So hopefully I'll find some more watches down the road, but it makes it more challenging when you don't have a go-to watchmaker. I'm going to try very hard to see if they'll still work on stuff from their house, because I'm sure they still would like to have some money coming in. Okay, so we'll answer a couple more questions. Somebody says, how many cars do you have? Too many. I'm trying to narrow down how many cars I have.
Most of them are in the shop though, so it feels like we have two.
Yeah. Let's see. We are okay. I'm going to try and answer a couple more questions, and then we'll cap it off.
I don't think we've ever bought anything stolen.
No, not actually.
Except for that car in Winnipeg.
So this is a funny story, and I won't name names, obviously. I should have known something was up, because this is when I worked in the film industry, and one of the other guys worked, we were renting this storage yard.
This is over 15 years ago now.
This is a long time ago now. And there was an old Jag sitting behind this warehouse. And it was there, and then it wasn't. It was a Mark 10 Jag, if you know that style. It's not the prettiest Jag that's ever been out there, but it was a neat car. Somebody had vandalized it, so I always thought, well, what a shame. It looked like it was totally restored at one time. The paint and the body were immaculate, but all the glass was smashed out because somebody abandoned it behind a factory. So I was saying something to a coworker, and I said, oh, it's too bad that car is gone. And they said, oh, I ended up buying it. I said, oh, really? Well, that's really cool. That's a car I wouldn't mind trying to restore. He said, oh, you could buy it from me if you want. I'm not going to do anything with it. I said, great. So I went, I looked at it. I said, yeah, that's the car. He gave me a bill of sale for it. And I got it home, and I cleaned all the broken glass out of it, and I waxed it and polished it. I took it in to get some work done to it. I replaced the windshield and did some other work. And while I was at the shop, I get a call from an 85-year-old German man named Peter. His name was actually Peter Wolf. Could not pick a more German name than Peter Wolf. And he was like the anti-Cinderella. He did not really like animals in nature, but he was always surrounded by it. He had a big,
so true.
This will make sense as part of the story. I have to give you the backstory. 85-year-old German guy. And if your family's watching, you'll know this is true. His wife had a lot of little dogs. He didn't like dogs. Ah, dogs.
They adopted them until they found homes.
Oh
like
yeah, that's what it was.
yeah.
I forgot. Anyway, he also liked to garden, but he was like, I threw some seeds out there, and then he'd have a tomato the size of a basketball.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. He's like, anyway. And birds landing on him like Cinderella. He's like, birds. And like nature loved this guy anyway. So this guy who's a little uppity at the best of times is like, Alex, the police are here, they're taking your car. And I went, what? Why? And he said, oh, you got to get down here. So anyway, I end up getting called into the police station downtown Winnipeg. Bum, bum, bum. It's not like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They weren't fun. Nobody was playing a party game. Nothing was happening that was any good. And they questioned me, and I'm like, I don't know, I just bought the car off this guy. I got a bill of sale. I showed it to him, and that was my extent of being in trouble with the law. They said, okay, you have a bill of sale. That guy, I don't know what happened to him. I know that he wasn't real happy that I told him where I bought the car from. I'm like, what do you expect me to do? You sold me a car.
Yeah.
So apparently what happened was he didn't buy the car at all. He just towed it from behind the warehouse because he's like, oh, free abandoned car, and took it home and sold it to me. Which, guess what, folks? You can't do. So yeah, that's the only time that I inadvertently bought something that was stolen, but we got the car back to the original owner. And here's the funny part. The owner, or the nephew of the owner, whoever from the estate, they got the car. They get the car back. He phones me up. He's like, I don't want the car. You want to buy it from me? I'm like, no, I don't want the car back now.
And now that it's worth more, so
I'm
we're
like,
out all that money.
Yeah,
and now
like,
that it's worth more, he's going to sell it back to us.
At
for
the profit.
more,
Yeah, he wanted
because we fixed it for them.
Yeah, so after I'd done all the work to it, he's like, well,
Yeah.
it's worth more now that you fixed it. I'm like, I'm aware it's worth more now that I fixed it.
And we
I'm
were
like,
out all that money that we put into the restoration.
so I'm like,
of it.
enjoy. It's your
Yeah.
car now. Hope you can finish it. And he never did. That car sat there and was never, ever fixed up. So they went to the trouble. Like this, these are people who left it abandoned. It got vandalized. They left it there for years.
They knew that we were fixing it up, apparently.
Well, they waited until I had it
Yeah.
fixed up, and then they called and said it was missing. And anyway, they got the car back in better shape and then tried to sell it back to me. They're like, well, obviously you like the car, so you should just buy it from us. Now it's in better shape. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
I don't need the car. I don't want anything to do with it. So, anyway.
Raymond, thank you very much.
Oh, Raymond
said-
asked a question.
What is your favorite antique that you had to sell but would like to have it again?
Oh, Raymond asked a question of what I have purchased in the past and owned and wish I kind of had back. The only thing that comes to mind right off the top of my head is an E-Type Jaguar. And we're on the topic
So
of
it's-
Jags right now. But when the garage opened and I had that Ferris Bueller's Day Off moment where they're like, it's a Ferrari 250G. That's how I felt. It was like, it wasn't a Ferrari though, it was a Jag. But the garage would open up and you'd see this long Uncle Tex kind of hood on the car. Like they should have bull horns on it. That the hood is like twice the length of the rest of the car. It's basically just all hood. Anyway, it was such a pretty looking car. And I sold it because we needed money, which is why you generally sell things. But that is one car eventually. Of all the things I've bought and all the things I've sold, I've not been able to find another one for a reasonable price. At some point I'll find another one, but that hasn't been a priority right now. That's why I keep buying cars that are in kind of rough shape and fixing them up, because eventually they'll be worth more, and then maybe I can sell it and I'll have money to buy, something I actually want.
Dave said, didn't you see the ownership for the car? But it works different in Alberta. We don't have titles for the car. So...
well, that was in Manitoba.
Oh, well, and in Manitoba, they don't have titles there either.
It's not, you can legally transfer the sale of a vehicle, any type of vehicle here, with just a handwritten bill of sale.
Yeah.
If you say, I am the owner of this vehicle, essentially, with the serial number, and you sign it, and then the buyer signs it, you can take that in and get license plates and registration unless it's been listed as being a stolen vehicle. Once you get that, then you have your official document that says you own the car. But you can transfer you can buy and sell vehicles with a paper
And you can
bill of
keep
sale.
your plate. The plate doesn't stay with the car. You can keep your plate and put it on a different car and register it to something else.
So for me, I hadn't tried to go register it because I was working on it.
Yeah.
Had I taken it into the registry's office, it might have come up as being flagged as stolen, but
Yeah.
I wasn't at that point yet because it wasn't road.
We have weird rules too. Like there's something like if you leave it abandoned on somebody's property for like 6 months, it belongs to them. What's that called? When you leave something for a period of time, it belongs to because they left it abandoned. Technically, that guy should have owned it.
Yeah, it depends on the situation, but
Yeah.
anyway, you have to do your due diligence when you buy a vehicle, and now you can ask if they have previous copies of ownership or so forth.
And we have something you can check for that. I can't remember what it is. You know, when you can check if it's been in an accident. Or
Oh,
anything like that.
Carfax. Yeah, you do
Carfax.
Carfax. Okay, let's see. Is there a different business license for selling food and drinks out of your store? No, you don't need a different business license for selling pre-packaged food and pre-packaged drinks, which is what we do right now. You can sell something that has been created and sealed and packaged at a licensed facility with no extra concerns or issues.
As long as we're not preparing it.
As long as we're not preparing the food. Like,
Yeah.
I could probably sell a loaf of bread at my store because I didn't package, seal, and make that loaf of bread. I could sell that. But the minute I open the bread and I put some ham and some cheese and stuff in there and try and sell a
Especially ham and
sandwich,
cheese.
yeah, then they're like, no, not only you're not allowed to sell ham and cheese sandwiches in this neighborhood, that's property of the guy down the street. Ham and cheese are us. You can't get on his turf. He's like, ugh. Anyway, the minute you start to actually prepare your food and sell it, that's when you need to have your food handling certificate. So when we expand into the other store space, we're going to decide exactly what we're going to do with that area. Truth be told, my heart and my instinct is to try and make that into more of a cafe sort of atmosphere. I think that the neighborhood needs something like, well, doesn't they kind of do need something like that. I think it would do quite well.
Yeah, I think so too. And then they could feed you.
And then I would have a place to go for lunch right through my doors.
Yeah.
So I may talk, what we might do is build it and then see if we can lease it to a tenant who wants to run a little coffee shop or sandwich shop out of there. And then we can also use some area for display. Don't quite know yet, to be honest with you. I mean, I could also just learn how to run a little restaurant or cafe, I guess, and get my license to do it ourselves. But I don't know if we're up for that. That's going to be a whole new adventure. This is why it's kind of building and growing. If you build it, they will come, apparently, if you have a cornfield or if you have a little building. So we're going to put the building up. This is going to sound weird, but I'm going to let the building tell me what it wants to be. I'm going to let the neighborhood tell me what they want to have the building as, and we'll see. I know extra space would be nice, though. So with that, we're going to say goodnight to everybody and make sure that you have a wonderful evening. Thank you for coming along on my less than cohesive but roundabout way of having a chat with everybody here today. As you can see, when I do my other videos, it's different. When I have Melissa here and I'm chatting live with you, I feel like I can be a little bit more, I can let my hair down and be more carefree.
Was that you shaking your hair out?
Look, this hair barely moves. But when I'm doing a video, I'm structured in terms of what I want to film and what I want to put out. And so a lot of times I just talk to the camera and I say, great, now I'm going to go over here and pick this jar up and move it across the table and sell it, you know. So it's a different experience on a live feed. Thank you for coming along on this adventure with us. Have a wonderful night, everybody. And if you're in the Edmonton area, come by and say hello. Please check out Kastner Auctions, kauctions.ca. If you feel like you want to have a treasure or some of the last of Mary Borgstrom's pottery and some other little artifacts from around the house, those items will be going up for sale. I think they put them live as of later this week. They were taking pictures of it when I was there. But as September 26th is when the big auction happens, that means that everything starts to end on the 26th. It's kind of like eBay. It's a timed auction. So it'll go up basically like in the next few days, and it'll sit there online until the 26th when it ends. So you can go in and bookmark your items or see what's going on, and we'll have another video for you very soon. So lots of adventures happening this week. I have another big road trip to the mountains this time, so maybe I'll get some good footage of that. And look forward to seeing you all again soon. So have a wonderful night, guys. We'll see you all soon, and bye for now.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.